What's cracking, traders? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. And I know, last video, we went and looked at the best PV Poke team. As far as Sims go, I think this time we've actually found the best team in the Fossil Cup. In the 3 sets or so that I played this team, I had 1 loss with it. And it was incredibly strong and felt dominant in ways that I had just completely forgotten about because I was getting my butt beat in Ultra League so hard. So this is going to be a team that is using Lucario on the lead. And honestly, I got this team from someone in the chat while I was live streaming, and they said run any steel that beats other steels. So you can use that as your indication as to which steels you want to use. You could use any steel as long as it beats other steels, specifically Ferrothorn in my opinion. And then we're going to have in the back here a double water composition with Golisopod and Jellicent. Now, Golisopod's running Shadow Clyde as our safe swap in bad leads. We're going to go to it typically and then try to sweep games with Jellicent. Now, these games, we're just watch them. We're just going to get into them. We're just going to get into the games here because this team is so good. I want you to see it in action. I lose so many leads and we just destroy people with this team. Lucario has Force Palm. It is a legacy move. I definitely recommend it, by the way, over the alternative counter. Now, opponent brings in a Corviknight, and normally, yes, this is a losing matchup because of Sky Attack. However, thanks to Golisopod's pacing, we are able to get to 4 Aqua Jets with the energy lead that we had before the opponent's going to be able to get 2-3 Sky Attacks. And that's massive because Golisopod is just like, it already has to be lined up, or Jellicent needs to be lined up, right? So I need switch here, and the opponent deciding to drop both shields here as they're about to drop another shield. I just did these games, so thankfully they're still fresh in my head, so hopefully I don't make any stupid takes, but you guys know how it is. Golisopod is going to be shielding up the Sky Attack. Opponent's going to come in with a Ferrothorn, and I'm just swapping into Lucario. Look at those Force Palms, dude. Those things hit like a truck. They hit, and the opponent on Acid Spray, because, I don't know, I guess that's a thing that people do. I think this is probably the only Ferrothorn in the entire meta. Now, alright, look, the first game has a person running Acid Spray on their Ferrothorn. Generally speaking, that's something you don't want to do, especially in a meta that's got a lot of Steel types and Ground types, right? You want to have Thunder, typically, on your Ferrothorn in this meta. But, that aside, that was the only weird thing I think that I saw. Everything else felt pretty normal as far as, you know, what you would expect people to be using. I go for the swap in to get my Golisopod back in on the opponent's Gastrodon, and they swap in their Corviknight, and as soon as I see it, I'm going to let loose this energy because I know that I don't want to get them to a charge move. I don't let them get to a charge move, and I can go and resist all of this damage. Body Slam is not going to be nearly enough to knock out. It's going to take at least a few more Mud Slaps afterwards, like 2 or 3. At which point we'll just farm down. Good game to the opponent. Well played. I have more than my standard 2 sets worth. I got like 12 games. I played 12 games overall. I went, I think, 11-1, and then I was playing a different team for a viewer in my stream. They had asked me to try a team to see how I would run it. I figured it's a good learning experience. Why not, right? I actually kind of wanted to see how to use it too, because I've been thinking about using Poliwrath. But anyway, so this team here, right? So we're going to be getting a little bit of extra energy against the Scizor, and because I know that it's 9 Fury Cutters to a Night Slash, I'm kind of confident here that I can win the pacing war between this opponent's Scizor, or Scizor. I'm going to call it Scizor. I used to call it Scizor for a little bit. Scizor, and we should be able to get to another Aqua Jet here, but the opponent in here makes a very nice read and catches on the Poliwrath, but that is exactly what I wanted, because now they've forcibly given up switch advantage. Jellicent can come in, and I'm going to bank this energy again. They did catch a move, it was good, but because I can safely just resist every piece of damage that could come from this Poliwrath, I'm going to get that energy back and swap into Jellicent to take all this energy from that Poliwrath. And Lucario is still sitting there very healthy, and I would imagine, based on what I expect and know about most team compositions, is if you have a Poliwrath in the lead, very, very, very good Steel-type answer with that counter damage. They're probably weak to it in the back, right? So we're going to be getting the Shadow Ball off. The opponent comes in with a Berserker, and I'm going to fire off the Shadow Ball because I don't think my switch timer was quite up yet. And then what we're going to be able to do here is bring in the Golisopod. Going to go for the Snipe. I know the opponent's not... I mean, they might be at a move. They might be at the foul play, but I'm hoping that they were expecting to be able to try to go for at least maybe one more Shadow Claw, and I was able to get that Snipe, and we're going to be able to single-handedly, with Force Palm, because it's a hand move, right? Ha-ha! Let Lucario come in and get that farm down. And next game, dominant good lead here into Credilli. The opponent's going to bring in their Greninja, and I'm like, man, I'm farming this poor thing down. Oh, how core broken they must be by Lucario to want to bring this in right now. My goodness. They're also really weak to Ferrothorn, too, as well. But then they're going to come in with the Mawile. This was the answer that they wanted to put on the Lucario. But at this point now, I know that I can just bring Golisopod in, and we're going to be able to get to these Aqua Jets. The opponent throws right away as soon as they get to this Power Up Punch, which I believe is 6 Fire Fangs here, or so. It was not enough for like a play rough or anything, but I'm going to bank some extra energy. Opponent comes in with Credilli, and because they've done that, now I can fire off the X Scissors. I was over farming, trying to make sure they didn't catch like an Aqua Jet on the Credilli or anything like that. Opponent is on Bullet Seed, so we can go for 1 and then the move. Be able to get that maximum energy, that good timing in, and the opponent's just going to go ahead and concede. They know they've lost the game. Well played. Which is fine, because we had Jellicent for the Mawile anyway, so even if they had shielded, we would have been good. But Poliwrath is back again. And I must have missed it. Looking back on it now, I may have missed it, but I felt in the moment that I didn't. Opponent's running Poliwrath Carbink core in the Fossil Cup, and I think that's a choice. Carbink is objectively terrible in this meta against almost everything. But the opponent was able to align it to the one Golisopod on the one thing on my team that would not have a good time against it, so at least they're getting some good use out of this thing. It's an expensive little rock. As long as they're getting some wins with it, then that's okay. But we're not going to be giving them that easily. They are going to have to give up bow shields to get switch advantage, as the Aqua Jets would have KO'd from that range. We're going to shield once. I'm hoping that they full send the Moonblast, and they do. If the opponent had decided to toss in a Rock Slide or a Power Gem, I would have been questioning my sanity and theirs, but would have got a shield either way. Opponent now has the Poliwrath come straight in. And once again, just like, I'm going to say it, if you don't see Jellicent in the lead, it's probably in the back somewhere. It is imperative that you do not ever just throw in your Poliwrath in this meta. It will get walled like this, and you're going to have a bad time. So Jellicent here is going to be able to get a full farm down here if I so choose. I'm going to go for it. I was thinking about maybe going for a move to keep them from throwing energy, but it's fine. They have Ferrothorn in the back, and the opponent. I'm gonna full farm down this Carbink, and the opponent knows it's over. Good game. They probably forgot how much energy was in the Carbink, and they wanted to see if they could get to another Moonblast. But spoiler alert, no way. Rock Throw is a bad move as far as energy goes, so it's just unfortunate. But now in this next game, we have Golisopod on the opponent's side, and this is a bit of a core breaker here. I can't really swap out, because I'll be behind in most situations, and I make a huge error, and this is actually going to cost me the game. Right, Lucario was fine where it was. The opponent got the shield advantage. They swapped into Gastrodon, which in a meta there Ferrothorn exists, and I still don't think this is a good swap. And the opponent is gonna. I'm doing everything wrong. This is pilot error. I'm playing like very bad. Even the body slam KOs, and it's at that exact moment. Right, let's go back for a minute and just see, what did I do wrong? Because that all kind of happened fast, right? So we are correctly gaming up until this point, right? And then the opponent makes the switch, and I should have brought in Golisopod here because it's got that bug subtyping. It forces the opponent to go for body slams, which don't hit very hard, and also we resist the ground type moves from them entirely. But this is the reason why I lose this game right here. I bring in Golisopod here, and we can abuse this Gastrodon, have a ton of energy when we leave the matchup, and then at that point we're just chilling. Now, the other thing too is that Gastrodon wins CMP over Jellicent. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. This is a double resisted body slam. Surely you would think that we'd live it, but no. And at this point, I feel like too many things have gone wrong that I will just voluntarily concede this game. I'm like, I've played badly, and they can just have it. And that's it. But we still get a 4-1 out the first set. And we'll get into the next one here. Lucario into Fortress. I'm hoping they're on Bug Bite, and if so, we're having a good time. But they are on Volt Switch, so I'm going to be going for 5 Force Palms here for good timing. Going to be able to get that Thunder Punch in. The opponent has Rock Tomb. Probably, I assume they have Earthquake with the Volt Switch set, but they're going to throw right away. So this is 4 Volt Switches. This is not enough for an Earthquake. I know whatever this is, it's not going to knock out. They're going straight for a Rock Tomb here, and I'm fine with that. These Force Palms are doing so much damage, and they're going to go for a move right away here. I'm going to get a full free charge move, or a full free fast move in, and now they go for the Sand Tomb. So maybe they wanted to get the attack drop first. I don't know. I would have gone straight Sand Tomb in this situation if I were the opponent, but we're going to be able to get this Thunder Punch in. I'm going to try to go for a farm down, but unfortunately, the opponent's going to get to a move, and I'm like, wait, this isn't enough for a Rock Tomb. It's a Sand Tomb. I'm going to let it go. The opponent's going to bring in Jellicent, and our defense is down, but we're going to be able to start shredding through them with these Shadow Claws. I'm going to go for the Aqua Jet here. It is resisted damage, but does slightly more than Aqua Jet, or does slightly more than X-Scissor, I should say, in these situations where both are resisted, both are neutral, both are super effective, yada yada. And the opponent, having no shields here, is going to end up taking both of those moves before they fire off energy here. They're going to go for that Shadow Ball, and I'm going to go ahead and come in with my Jellicent, look to try and one shield farm all the way down. I'm expecting this energy is going to go places because there's just about nothing in this entire meta that resists ghost type damage, and Jellicent is on almost every team because of it. The opponent's going to come in with Ferrothorn. This game is locked and loaded as a victory, because Lucario can just come in here and go for a Shadow Ball. Even though it's on low HP, I can still take this thing out. The only thing that I should have been more careful about maybe is how much HP I had left over, but I left little enough that I don't think the opponent is going to be able to get a farm down even if they live, and they go down to the Force Palm anyway. Good game. Next game, Registeel. The Tin Can is back, and we are getting a nice lead. Look at how much damage these Force Palms do, man. The opponent's going to swap out late. They take a couple Force Palms. That gives me the ability to go for this Thunder Punch. Regardless of what they do here, I think I come in with Golisopod. But the opponent no shielding this means I could potentially just fully farm down this opponent's Jellicent. I can give them one shield. And Aqua Jet plus the Shadow Claws actually do a lot to Registeel. The opponent unable to get to a charge move, and this is a little bit more than a Registeel can farm down safely with the amount of energy that I have. So they come straight back in with that Registeel after waiting out their timer. I'm going to be firing off the Aqua Jets here, getting at least both of them off before they could possibly farm me down. Going for some extra energy as well. The opponent goes into a Ludicolo, and I'm like, man, I wish I'd thrown the X-Scissor, but there was no way I would have been able to. We're going to go into Lucario because we do resist the Razor Leafs. I can't really bring in Jellicent to this thing, but we're going to be going for the Thunder Punch. The Razor Leafs are doing quite a bit. Lucario is very, very glassy, but in return does a lot of damage. You see these Force Palms are just ripping through this Ludicolo, and Myra B is feeling disappointment in this Pokemon right now, because Lucario is going to take it out, and the opponent kind of realizing at this point that it's over. They know that there's no point in shielding, and we're going to be able to take him out here. Good game to the opponent. Lucario into Poliwrath once again. This stupid blue thing. I don't even know what animal. Like I know that like it's supposed to be like frog related, like tadpole frog related, but I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Dynamic Punch is going to do quite a bit of damage. Opponent is going to go into their Ferrothorn. I'm going to go for 4 Shadow Claws, get that timing in, and decide to go for an X-Scissor because that'll do neutral damage into the Steel Grass typing, and I can go for another one quickly here before the opponent can get to their Power Whip, as they were at 3 Bullet Seeds when I threw that charge move. X-Scissor, going to be able to flip switch here, and I'm going to take the opportunity because the opponent not shielding that move means I can flip switch, which is perfect. I'm going to be able to fully farm down as well because the opponent would not have gotten to a move. We get switch advantage, which is really, really nice to have in this scenario here. The opponent's going to come in with Poliwrath. If I have Poliwrath on the lead, like I am essentially trying by all things necessary to either win switch advantage and put my Jellicent on to the Poliwrath, or I'm going to try to just 2-shield sweep with Jellicent in the end game and just hope that it can handle whatever else is in the back. So opponent here is definitely in trouble. Their Poliwrath is just not doing anything with my Jellicent here. And however, Jellicent in the back is going to be a bit of a pain for us. I am going to be going into Lucario pretty shortly here to try and get to a Shadow Ball. And I'm going to say, you know what? I don't know if this is going to do enough damage, but we'll find out together, right? Shadow Ball nearly knocks out. I'm only going to be able to settle for a Thunder Punch. I probably could have gone ahead and shielded that and gotten to the Shadow Ball, but I thought genuinely that they were just going to go ahead and bait me, so I was hoping that I would live that Surf. Opponent's going to be able to get to a charge move. I kind of have to respect this at this point, but I'm worried about the energy that they have. Them full sending that Shadow Ball and then bringing in Poliwrath is allowing me now to get to as much energy as I please, and because they just fired off a Shadow Ball, I'm pretty sure they're not at 100 energy before they threw, so I should be able to go for 1 Hex here and get the Shadow Ball off and get the game here. Well played to the opponent. Jellicent, absolutely a menace in this cup with all that energy just going crazy. Being aligned to Poliwrath helps a lot, too, to be honest. Magcargo, though, tough. I'm going to actually go for 1 Force Palm, and I actually calculated this move, and I want to talk about it. We go for 1 Force Palm, okay? And then we switch. Because there's 3 turns on that Force Palm, the damage from the Incinerate won't register until turn 4, so we've swapped out and transferred that damage to Golisopod. Now, 3 plus 1 is 4. That's 3 turns for the Force Palm, 1 turn for the switch. Now I can go for 5 Shadow Claws, which is 10 additional turns, and I can finish all of this on turn 14 when I throw this Aqua Jet, which is 1 turn before that Incinerate ends. I was pretty proud of myself for this play. I'm not going to lie. I've gotten to a point mentally where a lot of this stuff sometimes just goes over my head. So when I make plays like that, I'm proud of it because that was very calculated and I was very proud of myself. The opponent's going to come in with a Ferrothorn, though, and make all of that feel like it was for nothing. However, that was not for nothing. The reason why? The opponent has actually locked themselves in with this Ferrothorn, and I can get a full farm down out with Lucario. If I can get this within 5 Force Palms, we're good. 1, 2, 3. The opponent goes for a move, and I'm like, there's no way this is Power Whip, and there's no way this is Thunder. It's a Mirror Shot. They get the attack drop and give us even more energy. We get a full extra Force Palm because of that debuff, and I'm swapping out anyway, right? I'm going to come back in, or I'm going to come in with my Jellicent here. Opponent does have a Corviknight now on the field, and I'm going to let Jellicent do its thing. Lucario also has quite a bit of play. The opponent has payback on their bird, though. That's dangerous. So shielding that, nice to be able to get the Shadow Ball in, because if they let this go, which they do, I can go for the Surf now, and the opponent can't really swap in their Magcargo into a Jellicent that is going to be throwing Surfs. Like, if they were going to do anything at any point, it would have probably been try to catch that Shadow Ball, and then that way that I would be forced to go for that Shadow Ball, right? So payback is going to knock us out. Lucario coming in, getting the farm down, and we're going to go for 1 Force Palm and get the Shadow Ball in. And if this for some reason doesn't knock out, we have a Thunder Punch loaded, but it's enough. And we take the game. Well played. I remembered to put the button up. I was waiting for a chance to use it. Golisopod on the lead. I'm looking for some redemption after fumbling the last game I saw this thing on the lead. So we're going to be trying to improve on the errors that were made. Make sure I swap Golisopod into a Gastrodon if one appears on my screen. And since the opponent threw right away on 5, I can go for another 3 Force Palms, because we'll be able to fire off 3 Force Palms in a charge move right as the opponent's finishing their 5th Shadow Claw. Now they're going to throw it away and give us a full free. This is why timing is very important. I am now ahead of this trainer, unfortunately for them, by about 5 turns of damage / energy. That's a full free Incinerate just about of value that they've given me already by not throwing on proper timing. So I know it's not the easiest thing to master, but it's definitely worth trying to if you are interested in like making a climb to legend, which, I mean, I imagine that most of the people that go watch these content creator videos on Go Battle League and what teams to run and whatnot are probably of that group. Now, I make a choice here to come in with Jellicent and get the energy. I know the opponent has some boosts, and I feel like Lucario might be a risky thing to bring in because it might nearly get knocked out. So I'm going to bring in Jellicent, get this energy, and the opponent brings in Corviknight, and I'm very happy with this. We can go ahead and swap straight into Lucario, go for the Thunder Punch, which is super effective, and look to try to get a farm down if they don't get knocked out, which they don't. 1 Force Palm forces them out of the sky. We're going to throw the Thunder Punch into the opponent's Golisopod for the game. Went way better this time. Well played to the opponent. So we take a 5-0 in that set. I got a couple more games for you before we finish up for the day, but thank you for watching this far if you have already. We get a Gastrodon in the next game, and oh boy, this is fun. Golisopod, we're going to swap. That's 1 turn, and then they're going to bring in their Ferrothorn. I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting my timing right on this, and I feel I'm pretty proud of myself today. I did pretty good with my timing, kind of being aware of my turns. I'm very, very bad at swap-induced timing, right? Like when there's a turn offset somewhere, I very quickly get lost. I have the, like, straight timing memorized where it's just charge move is thrown, here's your timing. I can do that really well, but when there's swaps involved, I sometimes get fumbled when it comes to making that. So I'm able to get, though, however, all these shields off this opponent, and they're going to swap in Jellicent. I'm going to look to overfarm, try and catch a Surf. on my Jellicent, but it didn't work. But I do know, however, from previous experience, that my Jellicent can live a Shadow Ball pretty okay here. It's in the red, but it's not very happy about it. Now, the opponent here is going to be able to get to a final charge move, and I'm going to make the decision here to leave the shield for Lucario, because I feel like from the range that this thing is at, Jellicent's going to go down to that Thunder Punch. We're going to throw it and see if it's true or not. I have a pretty good ranked Lucario as well, so if I'm objectively telling you to try this team, and you're worried about Lucario leads after this video comes out, you could use a Raid IV Lucario and it'd be fine. You could use an attack-weighted one, absolutely. Opponent's going to make a nice catch and a snipe attempt here with this charge move, I should say, Power Whip. It's going to knock us out. Lucario just comes in, gets to the Shadow Ball, hopefully. Could have gone for Thunder Punch here. Opponent decides to throw right away. This was a potential misplay. Just go for the Mud Slaps just in case I don't have a charge. I mean, I know I do. But their best chance of victory is going to be not giving me that Force Palm and just going for the fast move. So good game to the opponent. Well played. The thing I say, because they did play it well. It's just that, we're pointing out things that, if the person ever finds this video and looks back and say, hey, that's me, I'm hoping that I can give them some actionable advice to help them better for next time. Not disrespectfully. Of course, I love everybody and hate everybody equally. Let's be honest here. I love you guys, though. You're watching my videos. You guys are I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. Literal goats. Shadow Ball is going to do a lot of damage to the Golisopod here, but this is a very valuable situation to be in because I'm going to make the opponent decide if they want to shield. And again, Registeel on the lead. This is never going to get farmed down. I will get so much energy off on this opponent's Registeel if they decide not to throw a move and try to go for a farm down. So I'm going to punish them for that. I'm going to be looking to go for Aqua Jet after Aqua Jet until such point comes that they decide that they're going to throw energy. And if they farm me down, they're going to have to shield in order to get this farm down. Opponent's going to let themselves get into the red, and I'm going to get this thing low enough and try to snipe with Lucario, and that Force Palm did just enough, and the opponent's Gastrodon is all that's left. I'm not getting to the Shadow Ball, so I'm going to be going for this Thunder Punch for some chip damage. I'm pretty confident that at this point, I am absolutely chilling. Jellicent can come in, has a shield advantage. I'm going to go bring it in. Now, if there's any point where the opponent's going to send a Body Slam to try and bait my shield, it's now. I'm going to let this go, because I'm like, I can live the Earth Power if I have to, but now I can pretty much just go for double Shadow Ball. The opponent concedes the match because it is over, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to the opponents here. This team is a dominantly good one with so much play into this meta, and even though Lucario is frail and loses to things like, I mean, you guys saw literally, I'm pretty sure we found almost everything that it loses to, and we won most of those games, so I don't know, man. I'm going to be playing this team when the league comes back in like a month and a half, I think. So let me know in the comments what you think about the team, if it does well for you, and even if it doesn't, I'm sorry. Sometimes the teams don't do well. I will post videos about teams that I believe in because they did well for me, but that may not hold true for everybody. But this team is incredibly good and at least worth trying. I hope you all have a great week. Thank you very much. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.